Hello everyone, welcome to my second booktube. This time I'm going to talk about the novel The Great Gatsby and about one of the short stories from the anthology The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. The Great Gatsby is a novel that was published in 1925 and written by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This novel is set in the years following the World War I and begins in the summer of 1922. It takes place in Essex, which was Long Island in 1922. This story is written in the third-person narrator with a participant character who is Nick Carraway. He's the one who starts establishing in the novel the context and the setting. Nick served in the army in World War I and then he decided to move to Essex, where he rents a small house next door to the mansion of the main character, who is J. Gatsby. Nick, at the beginning of the story, gives us a little description of Gatsby's house. He says that the mansion was a factual imitation of some hotel, the Ville in Normandy, with a tower on one side, a marble swimming pool, and more than 40 acres of lawn and garden. In the inside, the enormous and luxurious mansion contains a multitude of different rooms, swathed in rose and lavender silk and colorful new flowers that makes you feel happy and alive. Gatsby is a millionaire who does huge expensive parties at his mansion in which he doesn't participate. And across the bay, in front of Nick's house, lives his cousin Daisy with her husband Tom. One day at Daisy and Tom's house, Nick is introduced to Jordan Baker, Daisy's friend, with whom Nick starts a romantic relationship. Jordan is the one who tells Nick that Tom has a mistress in New York City, but later Tom introduces Nick to his mistress, Myrtle Wilson, who lives with her husband, George Wilson. Then Nick receives an invitation to one of Gatsby's legendary parties, where he meets Gatsby himself. The next day, Nick is invited to have lunch with Gatsby. This is when Gatsby tells Nick all about himself and his life. Afterwards, Nick meets with Jordan and she reveals to him about the love affair that Daisy and Gatsby had before she got married to Tom. Here is where Nick is requested to invite Daisy at his house so Gatsby and Daisy can meet again. Nick accepted to arrange the meeting and he called Daisy to have tea at his house without telling her that Gatsby was going to be there. After the awkward reunion, Gatsby and Daisy start getting along again. But finally Tom finds out that Daisy and Gatsby have an affair, so he forces the group to go to New York so he can confront Gatsby. Here Tom says to Daisy that Gatsby is a criminal and that he does illegal activities. Thus, Daisy realizes that she wants to stay with Tom. After this, Tom tells Daisy and Gatsby to go to Essex, and while Tom and Jordan and Nick were coming back to Tom's house, they discovered that Gatsby's car has struck and killed Tom's mistress, Myrtle. There, Nick finds out that Daisy was driving the car at the moment of the incident, but Gatsby insists on taking the blame. Consequently, Myrtle's husband, George, shoots Gatsby and kills him, and then he shoots himself too. After Gatsby is dead, Tom and Daisy fled away, and Nick decides to move back home. Personally, I really felt tried by this love story, but I didn't like too much the end since I love happy endings. I really wanted Daisy and Gatsby to end up together, but I felt trapped by how Nick sees Gatsby's character, how Nick sees Gatsby as a good person. So I highly recommend this book. You will love it. Now I'm going to talk about the first short story from the adventure of Sherlock Holmes, A Scandal in Bohemia. This is the first short story by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, featuring his now iconic character Sherlock Holmes. It was published in 1891, and it is also well known for introducing the character of Irene Adler, a woman who becomes a romantic interest for Holmes in later works. The story begins when Holmes is hired by King Wilhelm of Bohemia to find some compromising photo that Irene Adler has threatened to publish in order to prevent Wilhelm's wedding. Holmes here invites Dr. Watson to join him, and he agrees. Sherlock goes to Irene Adler's house and sees Godfrey Norton and Irene leaving the house in a hurry to the church of St. Monica. Holmes follows them and discovers that they are having a wedding. Holmes returns to Watson, and they together plan how to get inside Irene's house and locate the photos. Later, they go to Irene's house separately, and unexpectedly, Holmes stages a fight with some men in the street. So Irene brings him into her house in order to heal his injuries. Once inside, Watson throws a smoke rocket into the apartment and shouts fire. Here's when Holmes sees Irene running to protect her most prized possession, the photographs. So they have located the photographs. But when Holmes returns the next day, he noticed that Irene already took the photographs. And she left a letter congratulating them for doing such a good job in fooling her and locating the photographs, and also explaining that she now is married to Norton and that she won't publish the photos. Sherlock, as a private investigator and as a private detective, and as someone who believes in the power of observation and deductive reasoning, was really surprised, and I also was really surprised at Irene's reasoning. The story was very interesting. I really enjoyed reading it. I hope you don't miss it. I know you will enjoy it too. This was all for today. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I did.